In this episode, we're going to get into installing the vents for the shed. Either this kind of vent, the white one, or the silver one. So I purchased both because I couldn't really make a decision. But this is cool because it doesn't take that much space. It's kind of longer, but there's a mesh. You know, it has the mesh right here in the back, so you don't have like, oh, I don't know, big insects coming in, and it still works. And I got two of each. So let's say if I decide to go white, then I'm just gonna have maybe two. If I can get away with one, I will. If not, I'll do two. Before I actually do anything with the vent, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure it just from the inside of the frame prior to the screws right here, and then I'm gonna make a template with my cardboard, and then I'm gonna use that cardboard and put it on the area where I want to cut on the shed. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna measure here, this area inside, and I'm gonna make a cardboard template of the vent. So that's gonna be the template that I'm gonna be using, this cardboard right here that I cut, which is, as you can see, it's slightly smaller than the vent, and that's on purpose because I don't really need to make the same size hole. What I need is a hole where I can put the vent, and then right here you see the screws, it's gonna go on the wood, so I can't cut like the same size. So that's why the cardboard is smaller than the vent, and then I'm gonna use this as a template and when I cut on the shed. Okay, so I measured that I want the vent to be about 30 inches from the top and about, let's say about 2 to 3 inches out on both sides. So I'm just gonna measure that and then start cutting from there. With my template, I started marking the plywood where I'm going to cut the hole for the vent right here. And right here you see me using a drill just to mark all four corners where I'm going to actually use my saw. Let's go inside and see where I marked it. There it is, 4 holes. And get ready to use the reciprocating saw. So I decided to make bigger holes and drill bigger holes before I use the reciprocating saw because it was too small and it just kept shaking. I'm not used to it, so I'm just gonna try to be more exact, drill bigger holes first, and then I could use the reciprocating saw right after. That's what I did with both of the vent holes, is have 2 bigger holes so that I can use the reciprocating saw without any issues, which I intend to do right now, just to make it easier on myself, you know, because I'm not really used to using the reciprocating saw. It just tends to shake more when I use it. I know they said to try to stabilize it and use the edge, but it's hard when you're trying to do these vent holes. So that's why I use this bigger drill bit to create those bigger holes, and then see if that helps me with when I use the reciprocating saw. Seems like I messed up a little bit. Rookie mistake using the reciprocating saw for the first time. As you could tell, the holes are not straight or aligned. I'm gonna just try to figure out how to use, let's say, something like this to try to smooth things out a little bit more. But as far as the reciprocating saw, I think I messed up a little bit. Let's check out my handiwork. I don't know if you could tell, but it's really far from being even at this point. Far from perfect. As you could tell, the holes are not perfect. So I'm gonna just try to fix it with my little, saw. See what happens. That's about the best I can do. It's gonna be covered anyway, so no one's gonna see it. And yeah, so that's what the vents are gonna look like. I mean, the vent holes Just going to repaint the edges, and then I'm going to screw in the vents. The vent holes didn't come out perfect because I wasn't really being steady with the saw. As you can see right here, there's some edges that are not straight, and this is the first time I've used the saw, so bear with me here. Right here I just started painting the edges. Okay, so now that I did my touch up and painted around the holes, all I gotta do now is install the vents, put some liquid nails and screw it in. I'm gonna put liquid nails first on the back of the vent, and then I'm gonna stick it in place, and then I'm gonna screw it in. So liquid nails right there. Once I put the liquid nails, now I can line up the vent so that I can get ready to install it. So at this point, it doesn't even matter if the holes are not straight because the vent is actually covering it right here. See, once I screw it in, you won't even see the vent holes, and so it doesn't matter if it wasn't perfectly straight. So there you have it, little DIY with the dual vents that I installed. Hopefully you guys learned from my little rookie mistakes with the vents, but it's pretty easy. I think vents probably one of the easiest things you could do on a shed. And you know, see from inside, yeah, maybe you could tell it's not perfect right there for the vents. But you know what? I don't really see it as far as like the serious flaws. I think it's pretty good considering this is my first time installing vents and using the reciprocating saw. So that's gonna do it for the vent install. As you can see, easy peasy for this one. If you're interested in watching the whole shed build, you can click this link right here.